Thank you for spending your time here with me at Dental Academy USA. My name is Leo Kirish, and I'm coming up with another video that's going to help you on your path to become a dentist in the United States. Today is not a question directly related to your application, but about how your life is going to be when you are in school. Different than some countries around the world, and especially different than in Brazil, every single dental school here will charge you. Even the public schools will charge you a fee, a tuition for you to attend the school. There's no free schools here. Some people might be able to get scholarships, but there's no free school here for college, for dental school. So one very common question that people ask me is, first, how am I going to pay for the school? And more importantly, even when I pay for the school, am I going to be able to work? How am I going to pay my bills that will be coming up every month? How am I going to pay for my food and all that? Well, today I'm going to be answering you this question. As you know, you got to go ahead, like the video, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'm going to keep bringing nice content here to you all for free on my YouTube channel. All you got to do is share with your friends and bring more people to our Dental Academy USA YouTube channel. But to answer the question, how am I going to pay for my cost of living? How am I going to pay for school? How am I going to pay for everything while I'm in school? Well, it is very, very common in the United States to get a student loan to pay for your school and also for your cost of living. As a Brazilian myself, I was very, very worried about coming to the United States and have to go through school and pay for all that because I did not have money. And in my Brazilian mentality, because my school in Brazil was free, I didn't have to pay for school in Brazil. I went to a public school. It's very challenging for you to get into a public school, but once you get in, you don't have to pay for the tuition. All I had to do was pay for my instruments, which was pretty expensive, but still not as expensive as could have been private school. And all my Brazilian friends ask me, like, how are you going to pay for things while you're in school? Well, in the United States, it's very common for you to acquire loans to pay for your cost of living. And if you're eligible for student loans, and if you're in my course, you know how you can become eligible for student loans. All the schools, they have a department that will help you with the student loans during the process. And they basically will allow you some extra money to pay for your cost of living. So not only you're going to have the ability to take the loans to pay for the tuition and fees for your dental program, but also you can get a little bit of extra money to pay for your cost of living. And I am not an expert in this subject, so I don't know all the details. Don't hold me accountable for what I'm saying in this video here. But as a rule of thumb, they'll take several things into consideration. For example, the cost of living where you are going to school. Do you have dependents or not? Things like that. So if you have children or not. So if you go to school in New York, you might have a certain amount for your additional expenses as part of your loan. But if you go to Richmond, Virginia, which is a completely different city, you may have a lower amount. If you have one or two kids or no kids, you may have a different amount towards your monthly expenses. So it really depends on your situation. But there are several people who take loans to help with the cost of living. You know, now they're not going to be like, yeah, you get as much money as you want. No, the school will decide how much money you can get, and you cannot just keep getting more and more and more. They're going to have a limit, and that's based on their evaluation of what would be needed for you to live in that area. You know, I have heard that some places the budget can be extremely tight. I've heard that. I've heard that you might not be able to live in the closest area to the school. For example, you may need to live a little bit further away and things like that. It really depends. Each school is going to be a little bit different. But you are able to get a student loan to help with your expenses while you are in school. What I don't recommend is for you to spend this student loan money on things that are not needed. For example, traveling or do some other stuff that's not required. You got to be very, very careful about how you spend this money, because you're going to have to pay this money back, and you're paying interest in this money. So you have to take as little as possible to pay for your cost of living. You got to be smart about this. And just so you know, there are a ton of people that are in dental school with kids, and they're surviving on the student loans during this years of dental school. In my class, there were several people, several of my classmates, including myself. We had kids I luckily didn't have to take loans for the cost of living, but there are several of my classmates that had loans for cost of living because they had a wife or husband and kids, and they need that extra help at that moment in their lives. But they're all very careful about how they spend their money. So that's how you're gonna pay your bills while you're in school. A lot of people are like, can I go and work while I'm in school? You can, but you're gonna have so little free time, and the amount of money that you're gonna make is usually not gonna be enough to justify you after studying the whole day, having to study for exams, going out in the evenings or Saturday or Sunday and working, There are a few options available sometimes for you to work in school as a very part-time position where you can earn some extra income, but at least you are connected to the school, you're doing something with the school, and you're earning and learning. You're doing both at the same time. I know a few people who did it. It's not going to be a life-changing situation, but it can be a good extra. Don't rely on it. You should have a good financial plan, and if you need, you should probably plan to take an extra additional student loans to cover your cost of living. If you like the video, go ahead, click the button down below, share, subscribe, write a comment, a suggestion for next video, and I'll be coming back here at Dental Academy USA with more ideas, more videos to help you to become a dentist in the United States.